Hey, thanks for being here. It's the Mike Broomhead Show. Joining me in studio right now is Governor Doug Ducey. Governor, thanks for coming in.
Good. It's good to be here.
There you are. All right. Thanks, Governor. So, sorry about that little technical issue. Let's start off with this. Do you understand, I'm sure you've heard from someone that I've been a complainer about this, and a lot of business owners were upset. They felt there was more of a lack of communication after we started opening, that the shutdown, we had communication almost on a daily or weekly basis. But then as we started to reopen and the second shutdown happened, a lot of business owners felt blindsided by that.
Well, first I'll say I'll leave it to the pundits to speak about communication. We've been in front of the press 40+ times since March, certainly more than one time a week. Dr. Kara Christ has been out there. So I hear from a lot of folks. I talked in the last press conference to say there's two very loud and distinct camps that are out there. One that is a lock everything down camp. Another camp that's saying that this is a hoax. I'm not a part of either camp. I know people in all three of these camps. And what I hear from folks is when they like the decisions, they think that there's good communication. When they don't like the decisions, they haven't liked the communication. We're going to keep doing everything we can so people understand what they need to do. And let me begin by just saying, first, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I think we have a lot to be thankful for this time in Arizona, but we also have a lot of challenges. And my heart goes out to everybody that's been directly and indirectly affected by this pandemic. I know it's affected all of our citizens. I know it's affected our business owners. I've tried to make the best decisions along the way following public health, and that's what we'll continue to do. And we are experiencing a surge right now. And it is a time of concern in the state of Arizona, but our citizens are demonstrating common sense, and I'm confident we can navigate through this.
So Thanksgiving is here. The CDC is saying people should not travel. Sedona, Scottsdale, two of the biggest destinations for people that are still traveling. What are you saying to the travelers that are coming here and to the people in Arizona about COVID-19 and Thanksgiving?
Well, we want people to have a safe and healthy Thanksgiving. We want them to follow the public health guidelines. The CDC is recommending that you don't travel. I think it's wise advice. When people are traveling, I think they can demonstrate common sense. I mean, Mike, so much of this, and I closed the last presser by saying it's not so much that folks need instruction as much as they need to be reminded of things that they already know. If folks will wear a mask, if they'll socially distance, if they'll wash their hands, if they'll use these common sense measures, it is a huge differentiator in slowing the spread, and eventually we'll be able to eliminate and eradicate it. There's a lot of really good news on the horizon. It's almost miraculous news around these vaccines, but we do have to get from here to there, and through Thanksgiving, through the holidays, through all the things that happen in between. And listen, I want to see my loved ones as well. I want to see my mom and my grandma and my in-laws. We'll be doing more FaceTiming than we would normally do at Thanksgiving, but I'm just asking people to use common sense.
So why not a mask mandate? There was a shutdown. People disagreed, said you weren't, first of all, didn't think you had the right to shut things down, but you did for the better of Arizona. A lot of advice about shutdown, about mask wearing. Why not a mandate?
So first I want to say what we did is we've been targeted the whole time. We've tried to focus on measures that make a difference. I'm for masks. I want people to wear a mask. We're at over 90% of the state with mask mandates. Independent organizations like Duke Medical and the IMHE say we're at the proper mask participation. I don't want masks. They've become a political issue, but I'm not going to participate in that. We've put money behind it. We've put public service announcements behind it. You drive on the freeway, you see the ADOT signs promoting masks. People should wear a mask. It's the right thing to do to protect yourself, to protect others, to protect the people you love.
You were very targeted, as you said, in some of your response to things. The data is showing us that the most at-risk people are over 65 years old. If people are going to travel, if we are going to see this is still in the middle of a surge, is it time to start talking specifically to those people and telling them stay home, don't go to Thanksgiving, don't go out when it's not necessary? Is it time to start targeting specific demographics?
Well, I think we've talked the entire time about the most vulnerable, and it certainly is the elderly and those with underlying health conditions, comorbidities, obesity, diabetes, and other indications. But believe it or not, the spread has really happened among our younger set. Right. I mean, the people that are somewhat invulnerable and bulletproof. We weren't, it wasn't that long ago, was it? So that's that age 20 to 44. So I think that this communication across the board in the adult population, that everyone has a role to play. Everyone has a part to play. Now, in terms of who's more vulnerable, it will be our grandparents that aren't going to be joining us for Thanksgiving. Around your immediate family that set you cohort with, that's different. But I do think that's been part of the messaging, has been who is most vulnerable, where are we going to target. The first executive order that we put out on March 11th was around our long-term care facilities. And boy, you talk about some backlash. You should have your mom call you up on your cell phone and say, I can't get in to see Gammy. And I'm like, well, that's how it's supposed to work, Mom. And it was at the request of the leaders of the long-term care facilities that we did this. And this is before we knew any of what was in front of us. If you can search your memory back to where we were on March 11th, this was just beginning, just ramping up. So we're going to continue to make targeted decisions, over-communicate. We know a lot more about this pandemic today than we did then, and so do the people of Arizona in this country.
All right, so I want to take a quick break. I want to talk about schools and are we headed toward a shutdown when we get back. I want to ask specific questions about schools. So in a moment, Governor Ducey joins us for one more segment. Stick around.
The Mike Broomhead Show on KTAR News 92.3 FM and the KTAR News app.
Hey, thanks for being here. It's the Mike Broomhead Show. In the middle of our exclusive interview with Governor Doug Ducey regarding Arizona COVID-19, let's start with schools. A few months ago, you said there were going to be three options. If you wanted your kid to be in the front row day one, there would be an option for that. There isn't. And I don't know how much are you able to do about that. Can you explain how much you can do as far as forcing schools to open?
So first, I do want kids in school. And what I'd say is in many of our schools, that option does exist. So I want our schools open, and it's not my opinion on this. This is the public health guidance. If you go to my Twitter feed at Doug Ducey, I think we still have pinned Dr. Robert Redfield, the gentleman who leads the Centers for Disease Control, talking about schools being the safest place for a child. Now, I know there are some parents that don't want their kids in school. We've given them that option. We have some teachers that have a comorbidity, so we've given them that option to be the teacher that teaches that online. But schools are a safe place according to public health, and parents have a lot more power in this situation than they think. They can vote with their feet. There are schools that are open and teaching every day, and I commend all of our teachers and our educators, but I want to do what's in the best interest of our children, and that's the expectation.
But if 28 of the 47 school districts in the Metro Phoenix area are closed again or have never opened, that's not an option for parents. And you know, as governor, you told us all we're going to shut down, stay safe, stay home, stay safe, stay connected. You made sure the message was hammered home, and you realize that there's things you can't force someone to wear a mask, but you over and over again, you hammered home, wear a mask. You used all of your power to shut down restaurants that didn't comply. Why not more pressure on the schools? Why not more vocal to get schools open, especially with what the CDC has been saying?
So there's local control, and by and large, we believe in local control. We want to continue that, but we do want our schools to open. What happened in the spring was different because so much was unknown. I worked together with Superintendent Hoffman because there really just was a public concern and among the teachers. As we come to the fall, it's different. There are options. There are schools that are open and operating and kids sitting in the front of the classroom today. I want to see that in more of our schools. We're going to get through Thanksgiving break and then Christmas, and we're going to continue to have those options.
But it's not just the students. I hear from teachers every single day that want to be back in the classroom, but because of the districts they work in, they're not allowed to be back in the classroom teaching. So it's teachers as well that are frustrated that they're not in front of kids. The kids are not getting the education. We know about the emotional strain it's putting on kids. The suicides are up in Arizona.
Mike, you're speaking my language. My concern is for our kids, and I hear from our teachers every day that want to be in the front of the classroom. These school boards at the local level, principals, superintendents have the power legally to make these decisions, and parents can put a lot of pressure on them, giving them the options they should be afforded.
All right, so let's talk vaccines.
And I want to also say I am concerned about our kids, the social and emotional disconnection, how much kids have fallen behind, depression, suicide rates, abuse. All of these things are things that we're not necessarily seeing because our teachers have been the heroes in terms of reporting. So the best thing we can do is find a way to safely and in a healthy way get our kids and teachers back into a classroom.
Let's talk vaccines. You made the announcement that we're going to be getting vaccines in Arizona soon. Who gets it first? Who decides who gets it first? And when is that going to happen?
So this is Operation Warp Speed. It's almost miraculous in terms of the delivery here. There are going to be hundreds of thousands of vaccines available for the state of Arizona as soon as December 15th. This is the Moderna vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine, AstraZeneca vaccine. They're at 90% efficacy or effectiveness. So, of course, we're going to start with our healthcare workers. We're going to start with our doctors, nurses, the staff inside our hospitals, the folks in our long-term care facilities. We're going to follow on with our most essential of workers, folks like teachers and other people that make our state run from a protection standpoint. And this is something where we'll see these vaccines in December and throughout January, but for the wider public, we should be thinking later January, February, March. And I don't think it's above the height of fantasy at all that we could be back to a very normal state come summertime. So we need to navigate through where we are right now. That's why I'm asking everybody the common sense measures, the wearing a mask, the social distancing. But these vaccines will be rolling out before Christmas for the folks that need them most, that are in the most dangerous positions around the pandemic.
We are joined by Governor Doug Ducey in an exclusive interview about COVID-19 and the state of Arizona. They're talking about a herd immunity. 70% need to be vaccinated for this to happen. Do you anticipate that in Arizona with the healthcare workers? Do you think 70% plus of the healthcare workers are going to get this vaccination?
Oh, yes, I think so for sure. I think that yes, we do have to deal with some of the myths or theories or conspiracies that are out there around this. But this is what is going to allow us to get back to normal. This is going to keep our loved ones safe, allow us to visit our grandparents, allow our schools and our economy to operate. This is a miraculous achievement and a testament to the medical health professionals, the brightest people in the world, Americans that are going to fix this not only for our country, but I imagine it'll be exported around the globe once we take care of the people who need it most here.
They have, in some states, governors have said there won't be any more shutdowns. Can you say emphatically we're not going to shut down again?
Well, Mike, what I would say to you is we never have shut down. We've had a stay home, stay connected, stay healthy order. We've had some targeted measures, and we've tried to stay focused on things that would make a difference, not only to slow the spread, but to maintain hospital capacity. We never lifted everything. We kept some mitigation measures out there. Our restaurateurs are operating at 50%. Our gyms are at 25%. Our movie theaters are at 50%, and folks are wearing a mask. If anything, we didn't expect any surge. We certainly had the pandemic and spread in the spring, but we didn't see our surge until everybody came inside. If you look outside in probably 80% of our state right now, and even in places like Flagstaff, once it becomes 11 a.m., it's only winter there till 11 a.m., you can spend a lot more time outside, and you're safer at home. And if you're not at home, if you can be outside and dine outside and even enjoy Thanksgiving outside, you're much safer. And that's where Arizona has a built-in advantage here, and I expect our citizens with their common sense will take advantage of it.
But if we keep going down the road we're on right now, we're watching the increase in hospitalizations and everything else. Is there a chance that you're going to go back to some of the other mitigations?
Well, you're providing a worst case hypothetical. What I'm going to say is I'm going to do everything I can to protect Arizonans and to make sure that we can care for Arizonans. Now, we think with the way that we took, and Dr. Deborah Birx said Arizona was a model state in how we reduced our spike in late June and early July. We've not lifted those mitigation measures. They're still there. We're going to keep pressing on that, and I think that's going to allow us to get through this to the vaccines.
And so, and the reason why I'm still staying on this
is the plan. The plan is to stay open in a safe and healthy way.
But business owners are not hearing you say we're not going to shut down, and it scares the heck out of them. And so I just want to make sure, what would be a threshold? Is there, because there's got to be metrics of if we get to this point, we're going to have to take some measures.
The plan is to stay open in a safe and healthy way. And the metric that we watch every day, of course, is around hospital capacity, which right now, while it's stressed, but 2/3 of the patients that are inside our hospitals are not COVID-19 patients, so that provides us different options. And then also around our staff, the doctors and nurses and people that are working in healthcare. Those are the ultimate measurements that we watch and we have to tend to, and because it is surging around the country, Arizona's in the bottom half right now. We're not in the same position where we have all the availabilities and flexibilities than we did before.
All right, so let's talk election. You said last press conference that you were going to let the courts handle things, and then you would rest whatever the results were. The lawsuit in Maricopa County was thrown out. Mojave County has said what they've said. Are you ready to say that Arizona should be certified for Joe Biden?
So the steps are, of course, you have voting, you have tabulation, then you have certification at the county level. That's being conducted or is completed. The next step is state certification. There's no reason at this point with what's happening inside the legal system that wouldn't go forward, and that is my expectation.
All right, so then is that a yes that Joe Biden won Arizona or not?
Well, what I want to say is I've said several times Arizona is a good government state. I trust our election system. There's integrity in our election system. Joe Biden did win Arizona. I think it's a 10,300 vote margin, or approximately 0.3%. And any legal challenges that are going to come, those go through the courts. But the certification in terms of Arizona is what happens on date specific in statute.
Governor, a pleasure. I appreciate you coming down and spending 30 minutes with us. I know the listeners wanted to get a lot of these questions answered, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Stick around.
KTAR FM, Glendale, Phoenix. KTAR News on 92.3 FM.